you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Broken Keyboards podcast with one of your hosts, Eric.
Marubi.
The pig.
The pig.
Well, a boar.
The boar.
Hello.
We'll never have a good intro.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
I'm not.
Marubi and I are working on it. Don't worry. Don't
And
you
the
worry,
outro.
listeners.
Dude,
And the outro.
shout out to my little sister the last time. Makes me so proud, even though she stressed me out.
Yeah. Okay. For this episode, I prefaced the other two, and for the listeners out there, it's going to be a much more relaxed one, kind of more geared towards just brainstorming ideas for a potential future episode or a tabletop RPG campaign, perhaps. And this one will be centered more around the world building and kind of the forces at play, is how I'll describe it. Are you two ready to kind of delve into that?
Yeah.
I'm down.
All right. So, going right into it, starting with like source material, I guess. If you could rule any video game or anime world, which one and why?
Oh, rule.
Yes,
Rule.
like if you were the person in charge, or if you could make anything that you've seen like the main governing body in a game that you were to play, which one would you decide on?
In a tabletop game I'm gonna play?
No. It's like he's saying like if you, based on whatever anime or video game you played, go based on how they rule that world, like their government, basically.
Oh, which one would I choose?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be like for a campaign, like if you were to play in that setting, or if like you were to challenge it or something that you think would be interesting.
Am I civilian?
You are a ruler.
Let's say you're in a position of power where you hold influence, and then you could be in on like whatever shady business is going on, or you could be fighting against it. Let's say that you're involved with it to kind of like steer it.
Ooh, okay, I have to think about this one. Can you go first, bros?
There's so many games I wanted to be a part of. Thinking about it now. Like legit. Okay, I'll go with let's go with the one on top of my head. Let's go with the Yakuza series. It's that's one of my ones I know a lot about. Or based on like I know some aspects of it may not be similar to real life Yakuza, but just let's go since it's more based on like the video game world of it. I think either the Yakuza world or actually the Resonance of Fate. That's another one.
Okay. And why? Like what about them is like, oh man, I'd love to be a part of that, or you know.
Okay, now put it that. Okay, never mind. Remove Resonance of Fate. Everyone is like, everyone. Okay, like kind of a spoiler, just because it's like background. The fucking like the upper class of Resonance of Fate are basically just saying a bunch of bullshit to the lower class, and it's more on the fact of like, oh, well, let's make up a lie because we don't want to prove that if they keep doing what they're doing, it's gonna screw over even more people. So let's make it that the god is smiting them, and they're actually believing it. So I think for the Yakuza, it's just like I like how they rule their power. It depends on who's ruling, like which of the clan leaders are in power. I would say. I love how they rule things, minus the greedy ones. Like the ones that know what they're doing, like they actually know how to get stuff done. More in the line of like at least making it reasonable and like keeping their soldiers in line, their quote unquote soldiers in line. Because if you step out of line, you're going against the heads. Like you've seen like what they can do, right? What the quote unquote heads of like certain clans of the Tojo clan, for instance, for Yakuza, you can see what they do. Like they wreck house and they quote unquote never kill anyone, quote unquote. So it's like even though like they want to get stuff done with reasonable amount, like either it would be in a criminal organization type of way, but they still get stuff done. And if you step out of line, you see a big fist going through your face.
God damn.
I think it's also applied to the last episode too, where I said my gym, my Pokemon gym, shout out to the last episode Pokemon, is a back like my gym is a fighting gym and it's a back alley brawl. So I'm like connecting a lot of different game or episodes and ideas. So yeah, getting stuff done, and if you don't listen, you gotta pay the price. Or if
So-
you're a soldier and you can somehow stand up to your leaders, they can pay the price. I don't know. It all depends.
It's like it sounds like respect is one of the big things, but there's like a hint of but you know, if we want to overthrow them and we got the manpower, we'll do it.
Yep.
Like, is that right?
Yep. That's basically it. Like we'll always go for peace, but like if we really want to take over like some of the other clans that are the enemy clans, they always want to take over, then yeah, like we have all the respect we need, and if we want to take over another district or different area, we have the manpower to do it.
Okay. I'm taking notes for the eventual plot twist coup.
Okay.
Oh my god, I can't wait. like in some D&Ds, like okay, are you DM messages player? Are you interested in splitting off for the party to do this to build character? Yes.
I would probably phrase it like I would DM the players and be like, a shady person hands you a note real quick, and then I show that to the character, and then you know later on I'll like private message, do you accept the request or whatever, and then depending on that, like you know take certain players to different areas, and then put key people, you know, like the insurgents and stuff.
that would be sick.
That's what I'm hoping, man. This campaign is gonna be real long.
I'm gonna love it. It gives a new aspect.
I'm confused. I thought it was a one shot.
That's how it is. That's how it is, Marubi. You plan a one shot and then it turns into like a at least a month campaign. But
Welcome
I
to
will
my
I will
life.
have like a short one, and then like if we choose to continue it, no.
It's like a
Okay.
test run, then the overall. Honestly, just talking about it, I'm so down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did they give you enough time?
Oh, yeah,
Marubi?
you gave me like just enough. I settled on it. It is kind of funny, but it's like really old. So governing body. I don't know if this counts. See, this is the thing here. It's called Baka to Test, and the way things are ran around there are just like competitions. So there's like classes, right? There's the really smart class, like a medium class, or the really smart class, like the top of the top, the medium class, and like low class. And you know, depending on where you are, like the equipment you have for class is better and stuff like. It's more luxurious, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way things are ran around there, like for like the student body, is like, because that's technically a government, right?
Yeah.
The way it is, it's that lower class students can challenge like a tier above them, and depending on who wins, they switch places. Like if the lower class student wins against the upper class student, then it wins. It's like a merit type of thing, you know? Like you earn your spot
Mm-hmm.
in like top, middle, or bot. And I think I would like that because it's like the more useful you are, you know, quote unquote useful, or like smart or whatever you contribute, I feel like you probably deserve a little bit more, right?
Damn, it's looking that mixed with my aspect of fightings remind me of a webtoon about the same kind of concept. High schoolers are beating the shit out of each other to get a top spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would like that system. I'm not sure. This is definitely a tough question for me. This is what I could pull out right now.
So good. I do want to push on that though, because each class has their level of equipment, right? Doesn't that inherently put the lower classes at a disadvantage whenever they challenge the upper classes?
It does. That's the thing, which is why, like, I don't know, dude. This show is really old. I forget how it went, but there were some ways that the bottom classes had like they were able to like game the system or something in a way where like
so it's
they could win.
also they just loopholes basically. Different
Yeah.
types of loopholes. Loopholes are just like legit outskilling the upperclassmen, probably.
I think so. It's like it's really hazy in my mind, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
Ooh.
What was the name of the anime?
Baka and test, Baka toe test.
God.
It's a early 2000 or like mid 2000 anime.
Got it. Me
Oh,
too.
Baka and Test, I see it.
Yeah.
Doesn't Baka translate to idiot?
Yeah. Idiot and test. It's really old.
I see. And mind you, in this hypothetical, you would be top class, which means you're benefiting from whatever luxuries you get.
Yes.
And you'd be like, this is all fine, this is all good, because you're so far removed.
But
Yeah.
you also gotta keep into account the lower the lower classmen try to take your spot. You gotta legit outthink them.
That's fine. I mean, as long as I'm like on top of my game, right? Like I should be okay. Hopefully.
I don't know. Maybe they're planning a coup. You never know. They could gang up and just they could knock you out of the game.
That's fine. Even if it's like a volatile dude. If I get gamed, I game them back after that, right? So
Oh shit.
It's just a recurring system.
it's just the circle of the transferring between the classes. But yeah, that would be like a merit type the government. Yeah.
Okay. And then the follow-up to this one. I guess I don't know. I was about to pull that shit that I usually do, where I just have you two say your answer and then I move on.
I was gonna just keep staring. I'm not gonna talk until you talk. I was about to just be silent until I was like, you know what we're waiting for.
I didn't give this one much thought, and I was busy kind of like leading you two to do it. But let's see.
You ain't gonna get us this time.
No worries. I was gonna say the Fallout series, but there's like so many different like ideals, I guess is how I describe it.
Mhm.
And it's hard to pick because they all kind of suck in their own ways.
No, yeah, for real.
Right? Trying to think of The Walking Dead because there's some there. It's maybe y'all could help me out trying to figure what if there was a specific one, because I'm just thinking like it would obviously merit would have to be part of it, but there's a part where merit shows, but that doesn't accurately reflect character, and that's kind of like what I feel would be more of a foundation.
That's true. I don't know, like because the thing about it, the reason this was so hard is because I honestly don't think about like how the stature, like how governments are like built in the shows I watch or the games I play. It's not usually something you think about, right?
Yeah, I mean it's typically a background thing, right? And it's only when you interact with, like, say a politician or something, when it starts showing itself.
Yeah.
You meet the government NPC and they tell you more backstory basically that helps build the world.
I'm not sure. I don't. Plus, I don't know what you've watched, right? Like,
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
You are the champion.
Is there even a government system besides the
There
Elite
is.
Four?
There is actually.
Oh, what the
they
heck?
have a whole police force with Looker and stuff like that, and the champions are not only like legit the champion, they actually work with the police and they help fight evil organizations, and they just try to make sure like they keep a lot of stuff in check while maintaining their duties as champion.
Do you think that's something?
Same with the gym leaders. Actually, gym leaders are also like technically like police. Also,
Do you think that's something Eric would be looking for?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Wait, run that by me again. It's like where there's a police force and they kind of control their own territories, or what?
No. Like this, it goes with like the basic type of government where like the police, like they'll have just a regular citizen, the police, and then they have gym leaders. Because gym leaders, like you may think of them as just like, oh, they're just here to test your path, but like in Pokemon, what's it called? Pokemon Generations, it showed the actual like gym leaders fighting like the Team Plasma, for instance, like Pokemon v Pokemon, and then Fist v Fist.
I see. So kind of like pseudo leaders, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, when you say character, are you talking about like the civilians or yourself?
Civilians.
Oh no, like in Eric's like description of like he wants the government to be like reflective of character because like merit doesn't show like enough.
Of like like how you can, if you're a good judge of character, you can tell if someone's like their vibes are on or off, or if they're like giving off a good vibe.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I will say that like as I'm working through this, there's a big opportunity for favoritism if you get the wrong people in the right places.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say, for the sake of moving to the next one, the Minutemen from Fallout 4. That sounds really basic because they're just like, oh, you do good things for other people and you spread the forces to protect everyone. But it's like, if you're doing good in the world and you're rewarded with like care for these people who will grow communities, it's a good starting place. I'll say it's a good starting place.
Okay.
Are you satisfied with that, Broseph?
That works.
Okay. Because the follow-up to this question is, if Marubi, you're head of the class, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're probably, I don't know, top A student, president, or whichever. And Broseph, you were the top dog in whatever Yakuza clan you're in.
Mm-hmm.
If both of you had missions to go against each other, what combat strategies or like what method of attack would you do?
Wow.
Oh, okay, wait, is it me against Marubi?
Pretty much, and I could throw my hat in the ring, but I want to hear how you two kind of like dissect this.
Oh, dude, I'll let Marubi. I want to say because since I went first last time, I want to let Marubi.
So hold on. So can you like clarify the question real quick? Like run it by me.
Yeah. So, so there's the student body, like you're in charge of it.
Yeah.
And you get word that the Yakuza clan is planning to take you down and the school with you.
Oh.
So now you're at the head and you are in charge of this like class system where there's like lower, middle, top, and you're dealing with this internal system, and you are told that there's this like outside force coming to get you. What kind of steps would you take to like mobilize your people to one, beat them back, hopefully, or if you are really intending to just change everything entirely, how would you work with them? Like, what would your strategy be to quote unquote overcome the Yakuza?
So they're attacking me and I'm not attacking them. Like this is like self-defense situation.
Yes, I was intending like if you declared like you formally
Declared
so
a
you
war?
formally declared war. Both of you sent messages to each other that, hey, I want something you've got, or there's like a reason for this fight,
Yeah, so
and you're both aware.
So it's like, oh, for let's just like help you a little bit. Like,
Appreciate it.
so just like to help with the scenarios, like for going with the Yakuza. So assuming like one of the top clans, I basically want your territory to expand my land. Think of it, and then I'm trying to take over your whole place. How would you?
Oh.
And that's my piece to war, because let's just say like I said, let me get your place and I'll give you some I'll give you some payment, and then you just pay for protection, and you say no, I don't want that, and it's like okay, then we're gonna be just taking it by force.
So, I guess in that case, the incentive is to like whoever does the most work in this war is gets top class automatically, right? So that's like morale boost incentive to like, well, first of all, want to do something and actually defend. Because I would assume that people at the lower part of the class would not care. In fact, they probably want the Yakuza to come
Right.
in and
They'll probably join my rank.
yeah, so it's like whoever does like a lot of work or blah blah blah, like notable top, like, I mean, depending on like the size, right? 10 50 10 to 50, depending on like how big the school is.
Mhm.
Get to join the top ranks immediately up here, and you get to like help with I mean, first of all, you get all the luxuries, but you still got to help out with like this ongoing war. Mobilize, this is kind of weird because like you're mobilizing students, right? So
Let's say they're at least 18 plus, I guess. So
Oh.
there's not like bad crimes. Like we're not
Yeah.
killing minors.
yeah. Yeah, so they're at least 18, but it's still like,
Let's assume they're college students then.
yeah, it's just like you're still mobilizing like just students in general who like had no intention of probably doing any of this. So first of all, in order to organize your ranks, you need to know who knows what they're doing, who's new, and like who's gonna need all the help they can get. So you need to organize that, and then after that, you need to take action with the ones who already know what they're doing, but you also need to split it up to be able to, the people who know what they're doing are actually training the people who don't know, and like the more inexperienced ones, and blah blah blah. Because it's like in a school, there's probably going to be people who know what they're doing in like a war, right? So you get those, you mobilize those people, scout. Since it's a war, this is weird because like I don't know what it takes to win a war. I think it's just like like I have them surrender, because in a war, if you're gonna win, you're probably like offensive, right?
Not necessarily. If I remember history correctly, the Vietnam War, right? The U.S. invaded, and technically we lost, if I remember. Mainly because their defense was so unrelenting.
Yeah.
That we were just losing troops and we were losing morale, and it was like, all right, we're pulling out.
But that the thing in that is like it's not mutual war. It's like we went there, and then Vietnam just like all they had to do was stay at home, right?
Right.
But in this case, I'm being threatened for like, am I Vietnam in this? No, because it's like it's a mutual war, right? Like we have both agreed that we are at war.
Yeah.
And it's about like land.
Let's say since Broseph framed it earlier that he wants your territory. He's in some way the aggressor because he wants to expand.
Mm-hmm.
So
And-
that couldn't put you on the defensive.
Yeah, and I offered, just say like just to so we don't have to put a lot of what is, just assume that I made the offer, and if there's more than one higher up, technically speaking, or just assume that I asked one of their higher ups and they said no, straight up to me, and then I'm just like, okay, I'll be the aggressor in this quote unquote war.
Okay, in that case, then instead of like mobilizing for offense, it's you focus on defense. So you get a map, you get like the choke points, weak points, like like all the geographical mumbo jumbo, and you decide where to put who. I mean, like we're just speaking generally,
Yeah.
and have them defend, like just like optimize your defense as much as possible, and just be ready. Like other than that, like I think that's like probably what I do. Like incentivize so morale's up, people are trying. Organize them accordingly so that they have a leader. That like they're not like they all have a job that they're trying to accomplish, and they're not like lost and wandering. And then assign and execute, and that's what I would do.
All right, that works. That's a good answer, I think.
Okay.
Like,
It's
if you were worried that like it wasn't like making sense, nah, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, just like before, I think we continue. I was just thinking, like, damn, college, quote unquote, college students are legit picking a fight with the Yakuza.
A gang.
Like, an established top gang.
Man, they were on your turf. The Yakuza wanted that space, and the kids were the students were just like,
there you go.
it's ours now.
But
Some
it's
shit
a
like that.
school. Leave us alone.
We need property. That's how do you think we make the big bucks? We get one property and we expand, and that's how we sell. We sell to the highest bidder. We make more money.
Yeah, in that case, if we end up losing, I surrender, and then we compromise. You could have the territory. You just they still got to learn.
I mean, no, honestly, like, okay, we'll continue after that. I want to see what Eric has for me, but I haven't. There's a response for, at least a kind-hearted response for me to if we quote unquote win.
Okay.
I'll say it right after.
You could say it right now. Like if you wanted to talk about your attack strategy, let's say, or if you want to say that after this like peace treaty. It's up to you.
I think let's go with the attack murder first before peace treaty.
Alright,
So
alright.
like, yeah, fill me in with the how you want me to answer. Or
I mean,
fill me in with the question.
So, kind of the inverse of what Marubi answered was, so you learned of a valuable, land property. There's like gold or some shit, or it's like has reserves that you found somewhere, but it's currently being controlled by this student body, right?
Make it any better. I'm not gonna lie.
The more I'm talking about it,
just take it out of context. It's so funny.
I was gonna offer if this was like uncomfortable to be having students fighting a clan.
That's why I said I offered college students.
Yes, not even just like making it students, but the premise was that like not necessarily exactly like the anime or game that you've watched or played. It's that like that system. So
Gotcha.
maybe Marubi, let's modify it so it's still like a territory, but you have classes where there's upper, middle, and lower, and they each have a certain level of equipment, and then you can challenge it to like rise up in ranks and like switch spots. But
And I'm not taking a school territory. I'm taking land at this point. Let's go with that.
yeah, is that more comfortable to reframe that? What's it called? Repcon? No, not Repcon. Retcon. There you go. Retcon. Your anime setting.
So
is that good?
wait, hold on. Run it again?
We're removing the students, and we're applying the class system to like a general population.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'd still do the same thing anyway.
Yeah, no, we're just making it so it's just like it doesn't seem like full-grown Yakuza versus students.
Yeah.
we're just taking that up, but we're keeping class systems.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
That was the like original intention behind that idea, not necessarily exactly.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yes, the Yakuza are now mobilizing against this group that is organized like a student body, but are not actually students. What is your plan of attack, Broseph?
So first thing, so since it has like their own. Since I went to negotiate, quote unquote, I would at least assume what type of class system would we, so we can know how to work with the people of that class system if they were to go with the just giving us or lending us the property. But since that's not the case, one of my incentives would be take out as many as you can, and whoever takes out, like, you gotta make sure you know who within like the lower, like, there's also a class system within the the Yakuza series, which would you have the chairmans, which are the actual leaders, and then you would have associations, which are the subsidiaries, or the many types of family who have their own, like basically it's a pyramid type of ordeal. So I would always one incentive, like within each association or subsidiary, I would say the family heads would promote whoever does the most damage and gets us closer to our goal, basically. And for attack strategy, it's since more often than not the Yakuza, well, the henchmen are gonna be stupid. That's quote unquote be real without that with the game of how it is. All the henchmen are fucking stupid. They're picking fights with one of the you play in Yakuza. You play as like one of you can the series you play as one of their key members, and they're just picking fights with the key members. Like they think they're actually gonna do anything. So I would try to incentivize the henchmen because I know they would want to get a promotion or higher pay. So I would offer that to my henchmen, like, you need to do damage and make sure we get our objective done. Just don't mindlessly do what you want. Keep in mind the objective of what we want. We want the property, so don't destroy the property as much as you want, and you will get either placed in a higher ranking where you get your own quote unquote family to rule, or you get up your pay goes much higher, or you get incentives like just higher pay in general, or we give you big prize money because of like since we have a lot of like dirty type of money due to underground crimes and stuff like that. Like my incentive would be money because that's how a lot of those yakuza, they're just greedy for money in the series. So big incentive is money, but please don't destroy the property. And I would honestly send out the weakest, which I know from facts and stuff like the information, because I need to know about how my family, my quote unquote, my clan is run. I would send out the families that I know won't make it, just to test out what we're actually dealing with. And just basically knowing how they won't think like, oh, we're just throwing out the bus. They'll probably assume like, oh, the chairman wants us to do the work and we can get promoted. Fuck yeah. And then just let them do. They're gonna, and if they get damaged, go to a hospital. That's not my problem. That is your problem. That's the thing. Like, you got money too. This is a job. I'm not paying for compensation. You know what you got yourself into in the underground Yakuza world, so you need to know the risks and stuff like that. But you still gotta respect the leaders and the higher ups. So send the lowest families to surround and see what they can do with the property, and then while that's happening, I would actually talk to like the more powerful families and the more powerful fighters of those families, and like actually organize an actual battle strategy while they're causing mayhem and just causing, while the lower families are just doing whatever they can to at least think they know what they're gonna get something done. So it's basically adapting strategies on the fly. That is my motif, or my idea of like trying to get this property. Send out a first initial squad just to figure out like what we're dealing with, and then use that information that they get that I gathered right away, and then start mobilizing the actual real threat.
I see. It sounds like you kind of want to call the week of the Yakuza too.
Yeah, because
Like,
we still gotta pay these fools, and they're only some of them, they're just greedy for money. It's like, oh, I'm part of the like the henchmen in the game's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Like, because the main character is a yakuza, but the thing is, he hides himself as being a yakuza. Like, he wants to just be a regular citizen, honestly. And they're like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it, huh? Because I'm in the yakuza. You have to respect me. And then they get their asses beat. So I'm just like, I want to just make sure the weak and the weak of the families and the unintelligent, like, they learn their lesson. Like, they need to understand like what are the repercussions of their actions. Basically, they can't just be mindless and just doing their own thing. It's also like a teacher, like a type of teaching. Like, make sure to listen to your leaders. Like, you're under them for a reason. You got assigned to them. Just listen to them. They're basically your family. You don't want to bring bad reputation to your family, which is how they and then they have all that apology of how Yakuza offer apologies to their leaders. So yeah, stuff. And then when that's pretty much my strategy. And just keep adapting on the fly.
I see. I assume there's a expectation I'm gonna explain how the Minutemen work their way into this fight.
A little.
Okay. I don't know. This is gang wars. This is like
A gang's violence.
yeah, there you go. Gang violence on site. I'm like, this is kind of a lose-lose situation here. But if I were to, if I was a third community kind of watching this happen, let's see. I would have the opportunity to join the Yakuza if I proved that like we were a worthy ally. And is there an issue?
No. Just taking notes.
Oh. Hey, listen. I don't know if you're the one who's gonna DM the next one shot or not, but
No, it's okay. I never planned on DMing.
I'm gonna be DMing a big campaign for you for the group. So it's legit a whole homebrew campaign. We'll talk about it after the recording.
yes.
Because I want to inform you. I really want. I informed Marubi already. I need to inform you.
Got it. Big appreciate. I mean, we will be delving into kind of more campaign building stuff off of this government stuff, if that's like cool for the second half of this episode.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah.
Marubi, is that good with you too?
Yeah.
Okay. So to wrap up kind of what I would be involved with, honestly, but the underdog side with the school system, quote unquote, thinking about how me personally and like the merit and then the judge of character, honestly, I think I might have to side with the Yakuza. Sorry, Marubi.
No, that's okay. This is class merit only.
Yeah, no, sorry. Good luck. Mainly because, like, as much as you can do good, or at least for what I imagine the government would be, the Yakuza, do they do good, Broseph? Do they like help people? Is that a thing they do?
Did you know? Do you know about the? I think it was like the big. I don't. I think it was like the either it was like the Japanese tsunami. I believe the giant tsunami.
Right.
Let me fact check before real quick. So,
is this with the shoot? There was an earthquake, right? And then like some of the storms kind of like affected the west coast of the U.S. too.
Yeah,
right?
I believe so. It was it was based on the big earthquake because it was followed by the tsunami also, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So the what's it called, the Yakuza actually aided a lot of citizens with who were who perished from the earthquake tsunami incident. Like they were one of the big helpers of the making sure that everyone over there was was well fed and like well. At least like they provided so much. The Yakuza actually provided so much support for like the families and stuff that have suffered due to the earthquake and tsunami. So like they were actually like, I believe like more than 50% of all like the funds and help, like all the help basically was mostly because of them.
Yeah.
So, like we want to get our own way too, but it's like there are some corrupt Yakuza in the game. Like I know like it's a crime organization, it's gonna be corrupt, but like they have their ways of getting what they want. Like some are more reasonable, and most of the time like they'll do good in their own sense, but most of the time it's still underground type of ordeal. Like most of the time when they own property, if it's like the greedy families, they'll legit treat it as like they're like a very tyrannical type of a mindset rather than a civil one, because like they basically, everyone's still people. There is still humanity within the Yakuza. That's why like the Yakuza don't just get everything what they want. Like they get what they want because of like which is reasonable, and it's actually kind of fair.
Right.
So if that was the case in the end of this quote-unquote war, legit, all we would have done is just take the property, sell it to some other, probably like use the property to like sell it to like more like upper class, but then as well as and while that's being arranged, we would just offer just like we would just claim the property, but you still get to do what you want on there. We're just there as now it's ours. We're just protecting it, and local business would just have to pay a little bit of a fee for protection. So if any like hooligans and stuff like that would like come in and like mess with the shop, the Yakuza is there to protect that shop because that's technically their way of business. Or that's their business, quote unquote. That's part of their business now. They're making income from those shops, but well, by offering protection. So legit, we'll take over the class system, but honestly, we're just once we get the property, we'll just help rebuild it and just like, okay, we made our point. This is ours now, but you guys can still stay here. Like we're not gonna bother you. You just gotta pay protection money if you need protection, basically.
Okay.
Respect. That.
Okay.
Unless it's one of it's a lot of respect. Unless it's like I said, it's the other families who are just greedy that want to climb even higher and then just do anything for money and power.
I kind of want to explore that. Like, do the more powerful families / like top of the clan like see these groups and like be like, hey, don't do that, but also you're still part of the clan for now. Like,
Yes,
is that a normal thing?
There's some plot holes in the Yakuza series where you like I don't want to give too much, but like just for spoil, like let's give a general idea. Like, oh, you're one of the top families. Like you have there's let me double thing real quick. So there's multiple like families, but then the leader of those families are quote unquote the leader. So you would try your best to make sure that everyone is agreement with the chairman, because if not, there's gonna be that one family just be like, why the fuck does he get this? I deserve more fucking pay. Our family does more than they do, and then it's just like they'll try to find their way to get to the top by sabotaging other families or stuff like that.
See,
and yeah, there can be situations where, but they need to understand like who they're working for, because more often than not, if they won't listen, they would actually. What happened?
Your mic kind of
It got
paused
static.
out.
Oh, okay.
So,
What was the last thing I said?
you got to remember who you work for.
Okay.
And then, like right after that, your mic was like, it ate itself.
Yeah, I was like a little in shock with that.
But yeah, like know who you're working for. You're part of this big clan. You're a family, and we're all families. Basically, we're a whole big family. It's on the lines of, do you want to really disrespect your own family? But because the thing is like, and since it's not blood, like you really want to disrespect the family that helped raise you, basically.
Right, because it's this idea of like, hey, we're protecting you, but also like, and we take care of you too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna turn your back on us, watch your back.
Yeah, we expect an apology. If there's no apology, you will be dealt with. And more often than not, if they don't want to comply, they would try their best to revolt and then just go to be adopted into a different clan, which will be rival clans and stuff like that.
I see. So
like, yeah, there's not only one clan of Yakuza. There's like multiple big clans.
I see. Okay. Moving, are we good to switch tracks, I guess, into more of a tabletop RPG?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I just to kind of like bring it into this next section, the reason why I asked is because if you were to imagine working with these like competing factions, let's say, in a campaign where you are no longer the leader or power in a power position of power, you're now just an actor on a smaller scale, right? And there are these larger forces, like say you're dropped into the middle of this war and you're not necessarily on either side. That's kind of like the guise of this. And then the next question would be, if you could be a type of player in this setting, who would you be? Like what kind of powers, what class, spells, abilities, not necessarily like fantasy inclined, can be like Western, could be post-apocalyptic, where it's like you make shit up. What would your protagonist look like? Is to kind of like wrap that question up again.
So that's the second one. The first question is, what was the first question again? Oh,
That's more of like that first question. That like, what does your protagonist look like if you're dropped into the middle of this like war type setting between
and we
these
are
two
not,
factions?
and we are not part of the factions, correct? We're just
No,
like,
no, no.
we're the middle man, basically.
Yeah, like you come in and it's like you you and your party wander into the town and learn about the two governing factions that are vying for control over this area.
So dealing with a class system government versus a power system government, power money system government. Oh lordy.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. So since let's make, we're a party of 3, quote unquote. Fuck.
Sure, yeah.
Oh fuck. Just since let's apply the first the thing. So let's apply that. Is this right at the beginning of the war? Is that another thing?
No. Shots have been fired. There are dead bodies on both sides, and it is reaching a stalemate, let's say. And you and your party may or may not be the tipping point in this competition.
Okay, so that means the shitty members of the Yakuza families are gone, and that's a big scary factor, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And then I wanted to give Marubi's side a little more benefit. Like the ranks have thinned, but because of that, the equipment allocation has been more how you say, not accurate. Your lowest class is still pretty beefy. Like their equipment scavenged from like their fallen comrades, or scavenged from the Yakuza that they've defeated, have bolstered your power so that the lowest ranks in your class system are still like leagues above where the henchmen are, probably on par with
like the clan, like the family leaders and stuff. Yeah, the family, like the upper families, and then upper class would be like equivalent to like the family leaders and stuff like that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, I'm just gonna do over. Oh my fucking god! I'm just like, if I could see this. Oh my god, man! If we just walk out of a building and just like, or like we walk to a new area, we wanted to try to explore, try to see what is our environment. We have a mission, but we got sidetracked, and now we're in the middle of a war. Huh.
So I don't know if who wants to go first in describing what their protagonist would be.
I could describe at least my character, but I don't know what I would do. Not
No,
yet.
that's fair, yeah.
So I think I wanted to keep it for me. Like, wait, what realm do you guys want to go? So you said any type of type of power, correct?
Yeah, I will. I guess to so it's not necessarily like high fantasy where everything's like magical and shit. Let's say it's magical realism, which I'll describe. It's for this scenario, it's a class system of like real people. It's the Yakuza, based closely to the real life counterpart. And firearms, melee, like knives, like gang wars. That's typical, but there is like, let's say, slight magics where someone might cast like a magic dart or something.
Or in the case of the Yakuza, like, so for some reason the leaders have like a bit more strength that is a bit outlandish than you might think.
Like you look at someone bench press like a truck and you're like, wait.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, because I was thinking of one of the protagonists who legit could swing a whole motorcycle, like freaking it up. Okay, I got you. I got it now.
And let's throw in, if you have, let's say, certain students of the fine arts that learn to cast spells like a fireball. Those are also not common, but not unheard of in this world.
Fireball, huh?
Yes, I specifically
Okay.
referenced that, so you get the scale of what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, I got it now. Oh, I'm actually. If that's the case, I think I would like. If it's okay if I could speak first, is that alright with you guys?
Yeah.
Maybe I would legit, since I don't want to play like the D&D characters I actually play. So like, let's just spin it around a bit. Maybe I would probably get like try to be on par with the Yakuza clans. Probably like their best soldiers or like their leaders, quote unquote, but not like on like complete par that I can take them over because like they have more strategics and like more techniques than I do. Probably just go with the casual the Dragon of Dojima Kiryu's kind of like his strength, I guess. More of like a fist fighter, since I would just like a fist fight with like obscurely amount of like high amount of strength, I would say.
Would you say with the modifier of 3 or 4?
Let's assume the Yakuza has modifiers of 7.
7?
Let's assume it's because or like the top dogs would have like their stats would be above their regular because they're quote unquote they're probably like big heavy hitters. I would probably go with a 4 to be reasonable. 4 to 5.
Like innate stats or just like with equipment?
Think of like I'll tell you now, dude. Kiryu only uses his fists,
Okay.
and you see, and you've seen clips when I played the game. He's swinging a whole ass motorcycle at the age of 17 or 20, not 17, 21, 20.
Okay.
So not on par with him, probably like a little bit lower, just to make it reasonable. Like I don't want to take over like shit. Like we're fucking stronger than them. We'll us three could take over everything. Like I want to be. I'm trying to. For me, I want to be at least reasonable. So maybe just like 4 or 5, just enough to at least take a maybe like the lower end families of the clan, but not like the big ones that know what they're doing. Like yeah, just more of the casual fighter type of ordeal, fist fighter predominantly.
Punchy boy?
Punchy boy
Like-
with a if just to match the environment, probably have like a magical bat that doesn't break.
In terms of D&D, would you say monk or fighter?
Ironically enough, probably a mix of both. We're not with more on fighter.
Okay.
With unarmed mastery, and then with like a baseball bat would be like a club, but more powered up probably. Unbreaking club or unbreaking baseball bat.
Did you describe appearance? You didn't describe appearance, right? Are we pushing appearance?
If you feel so inclined to, it's. Go ahead. Take where your imagination takes you. Go ahead. If you thought of that, Broseph.
Ironically enough, I may be like a fist fighter, but I would be rocking an outfit from probably similar to what's it called, Hyunwoo's outfit of Herbs or Eternal Return Black Survival, which is a Steam battle royale MOBA game. His skin in particular, I would probably rock something like this. I'll show you guys and I'll just describe it to the things because I don't know. But I think I'm allowed to put it up, right?
Yeah,
Like-
you should be able to.
Okay.
To the green screen.
Yeah, like it'll be an image, like in how I asked our editor to put my picture basically of
Yeah.
the sun.
Right.
So
Thanks,
yeah,
Kyoken.
Thank you, editor.
yeah, oh yeah, shout out, yeah. If you noticed from the last episode, Kyoken is now he has officially revealed himself, our editor. And it's proven that he's only gonna pick on me because I know him personally, and he treats everyone else with kind respect except for me.
Thanks, Kyoken.
And yeah, thanks. Okay, yeah, I don't even want to say. He's gonna get mad. I shall put it in the host chat. So something. Oh, that is my picture. Copy. Yeah, while I get this, Marubi, you can probably start a little bit.
Okay. So, for those of you at home, I always share my screen while recording. Oh, I mean, it's not a surprise, right? Like, we give Kyoken a file, and then it just depends on who's recording it. But I am going to show them this one. This one. Okay, so I have black hair.
Ooh.
Like purplish eyes, kind of defined black. What would you call that, Eric? It's like a
the
jacket,
shirt?
yeah.
The overcoat, maybe.
A black overcoat, purple V-neck, and a necklace. Well, it's something cool looking like that. And surprise, surprise, for the two that have played with me already, it's a gunslinger. A gunslinger, and but as a fighter, so it's not like a pure gunslinger like from Critical Role or anything. So basically that means I get to pick a subclass for archery, and well, I mean that's like all the class does, right? It's like I have super cool accuracy that I can spend in grit points, and super cool damage that I can also spend in grit points, and that's about it. Like that's all a fighter does, right? So yeah, I hit and damage, and that's it. That would be my role that I would want to take on in this world, because I think it applies.
Definitely, because like.
Do we still see the background? Okay, I thought my thing was kind of glitching. It showed an outline of the thing.
Oh.
Turns and faces the background. The background, you good? Is it all right? All right.
It's like Dashi, like Dashi.
Like
game
Dashi.
when
Hello.
you wow! Shout out to Dashi.
I love Dashi.
Anyway, but
Let's see.
oh, if I can be. Wait, is that all Marubi?
Yeah, because it was just like, oh, nice clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was about to go just mine real quick and then pass it to Eric.
It was basically just our class, and like, I mean, I guess I kind of added the looks part, but it was just like what we do, right?
Yes. What if you could, like, yeah, if you could be, what character would you be in this setting with those like forces that are at play?
Oh, yeah, and my name there is Sogeki, because Sogeki Hayes straight up like a direct translation of sniper. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Badass over here.
I like it. I like snipers.
Oh, you're gonna love the system then. It's pretty. I will tell you two now. And for our listeners at home, that I'm planning to be running a Savage Worlds based campaign, and a big factor for ranged combat in that system is cover. Like the cover system makes or breaks your hits.
Ooh.
And we're talking. I think I saw a chart, 25%. So I'm gonna go into it a little bit just so people interested listening. Oh yes.
Can I interrupt for Broseph?
Yes,
his look thing. His looks, his physical appearance.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was waiting till after.
Oh, but
Unless you want me to
I feel like
do
that's
it
gonna
now.
like what Eric's about to describe is gonna be like a move on.
Tangent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll do appearance, then we'll go back because I want to also hear Eric's appearance as well.
Yeah.
So, well, Kyoken, if you could put up the picture. So, basically, it's more of just like a kind of like a tech wear with a kind of tech wear pants, with more of like the traditional like Letterman's jacket, but in the style of like it shows there like a red gold dragon with different types of lettering and symbols and stuff like that. And as you can tell, this is based on one of my mains in herbs, and he's legit a fist fighter. Or his secondary weapons would be tonfas, but in this case, I would be using a bat. So not guns this time or long arrows, but I would actually go into the fray and just like fist fight Yakuza or class system individuals, just to, if things get out of hand and they don't like to listen to us reason, this was what I would go into the fray, taking on maybe, because knowing Hyunwoo's actually, the guy's name is Hyunwoo, and he backstory, he's like, he picks a lot of fights just to gain rep in his school. Basically, he's one of the best fighters at his school. At I think at the age of 17, so he legit fist fights a lot of like delinquents and stuff like that. He would fight a lot of delinquents just to like make sure, like, come on, don't do that. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing is wrong. Basically that. So knowing how with this situation, I'll be rocking this type of fit, so looking fly as fuck at the same time knocking heads.
Let's go.
Hella. And then you were right, Marubi. I should probably finish this sequence before moving on to the next. I'll admit I have a bad habit of doing that.
That's fine.
So thank you for calling me out.
Got you.
And then I guess for me, both of you are familiar with kind of the way that I play. I like doing flashy characters that do a lot of spotlight things and big movements.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, and I've also got a few 5e characters that are like in the works, but someone who speaks very little and does more with the revolver they've got on their hip than the words that they say, and who is touched by magic. Some of his shots may seem impossible, but they land with scary accuracy, and some of his what you think are bullets might actually just be balls of energy that he's mustered with his slight magical powers. The type of person I'd probably be playing in this like realistic, but also I did give the premise that there's like magic in the air. Superhuman strengths are not unusual. Is someone who has been traveled, like someone like who is kind of tired of all this government bullshit, and it's like, why are people fighting? Can we just like stop with this and like learn to live in harmony? But he's not afraid to put a few bullets where they need to kind of reach that state. If I had to give them an alignment, probably chaotic good, let's say.
Okay.
Mainly because sometimes to get the right, well, quote unquote, right outcome, you need to do some things that might not seem so savory, is kind of his mentality. And then I guess the kind of outfit he'd have, I don't have a reference to put up on the screen, so our viewers and you two will have to use your imagination. He's a very traveled person, so his clothes are definitely not the cleanest, definitely not the most like well put together. He's definitely not rocking a clean Letterman jacket or a nice long clean overcoat. It's dusty, it's gotten scratches and holes everywhere, probably a nice shit stained brown. He's got, whatever shirt he's managed to hold on to that hasn't been broken over the years or worn down. But there's one thing that he's got that is in near mint condition. His heart and soul is going to be his big iron on his hip. His revolver. God, what a good song. Arguably better than Country Roads. But that's my opinion. Or maybe he has a cowboy hat, depending on the day. He has a couple. But imagine just that like lone dusty type comes into town, and he strides into the bar, and then sees you two kind of just like, man, what the fuck's going on? Like,
And under like just a barely of age person to be at a bar. And then
Right.
long overcoats like sniper.
he goes over and kind of gauges you two and asks like, "What's going on?" You know, that's one of the few full sentences he said in a long time.
What's going on?
Who are you?
And then, who are you?
Name?
Is that you responding to me? Or?
Yeah.
Wait, is it established that I already know Marubi's character?
Let's say that you two have been in the bar for an hour, let's say, and kind of been like taking refuge from the fighting going on nearby. And you may have struck up a conversation, you may have just sat in silence and stared at each other, but you are aware of each other's presence as this third person just comes in, like the saloon doors, let's say, slam open, and y'all look. It's like, what?
Like, that he's making a big entrance. That's my first feel, like he's making a big entrance for himself. I'll just observe and see what he's gonna do. Or maybe he might be one of those Yakuza. Or those class system, I don't know.
Because none of us know if each other is part of any of the groups yet. So I feel like we go into this like that's pretty much how the encounters are gonna go. I realize. At least the introduction sequence, probably. So that was my character. I kind of went a little bit into the DMing mode.
Oh no, it's fine. That's fine.
So
I felt that change and shift. I was like, "Oh, this guy go. He goes somewhere."
May I make an inquiry?
See,
magic bullets don't miss, or magic missiles don't miss.
Magic missiles do not miss.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yes. So if you pick up the art of magic and end up being able to cast that, but that's no holds bar, man.
No holds bar.
Because literally, it's the wild west of expansion, colonialism, and all that.
Okay.
I'm just imagining what it seems to be like a high school college student, a lone sniper, and then a Western cowboy with a revolver. All meet up at what makes sense is Eric's character makes sense. We're in a quote unquote saloon. Maybe that's just like the type of environment or like the type of shop that's happening. Like it's based on like a saloon. Yeah. Like the design. So it makes sense. Like, oh, like he looks like he works here. Like he fits in. And you just see a guy in overcoat, and then just a random quote unquote delinquent student just sitting at a bar.
No, I had a realization. If it was a bar, a Western themed bar, and I come in, I slam the doors, right? Yeah. And I walk behind the bar and I pull up the bottles because I know where they are. Let's say that I do work there, and it's like, what can I get y'all? And you're like, what? And this starts the conversation of like, what the hell is going on? How do we know each other?
I think I would be saying something like, oh, I guess he is an employee here. Because it's like kind of weird how he's coming through the front entrance, making something as big as that.
I lost the keys to the back. No keys.
What about that shit-stained color right there?
I think
Washer's broke.
Washer broke.
Okay.
Oh my god! Oh, I can see this happening. Oh, it makes.
I've ended up having to defend the last bastion of Western culture in the town.
And now, and technically speaking, you will be involved in this fight too, because the war is gonna be in the city or whatever town or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that I can see it now. Like the Yakuza or the what's it called? The class system breaks into the bar, and they're bringing their quote unquote fight in there. So we either just watch them kill each other, or we just intervene and help protect the shop. Boom. Introductory fight.
Actually, though, that's
kind of cool. Yeah.
Broseph, Marubi, take note. This may or may not be the introduction sequence.
I know. The thing is, like, we'll know it, and we don't know how it will happen. Well, for actually, the people listening that play D&D with us will watch this episode.
Well, you never know. We could just die the first fight.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know how the dice are gonna roll.
That's true.
And speaking of the mechanics of the dice, good transition. Good transition.
Let's go. I didn't even plan it like that.
The way that the Savage World system works is instead of like having like a number, let's say that you need to beat with a d20 and a modifier, it's almost consistently, I've heard someone describe it on a podcast, much like ours, that most of the time the number you're going to have to beat is 4. And that's because it is, you could say it's based on the d4. The way that you kind of calculate how crazy something gets is in multiples of 4. So let's say, for example, Marubi, you line up a shot in the bar and you're trying to shoot someone. You've climbed up to the window and you see someone about to like rush into it, and you line up your shot. Let's say you're skilled and you're rolling, let's say, a d8. So players can have a d4, a d6, d8, 10, or d12, and then some modifiers, depending on whether or not they are like skilled or trained in that certain attribute, let's say shooting. So the premise is that you roll, and let's say it's an easy shot. You beat a 4, right? Let's say you rolled an 8. So that's a 4 plus a raise, because it's another multiple of 4 above it.
Okay.
Y'all with me so far?
No, I got
A
it.
little bit, yeah. Like, kind of trying to understand it.
All right. Is there something confusing about it so far?
So, I think you're about to get into like why the rolling an 8 in the d4.
Okay. Not necessarily like. Oh, the reason why I'm saying, let's say you rolled an 8, not because you're using a d4, but say you put points. Okay, let me backtrack. Everyone starts off with a d4 in all their skills.
Okay.
And you have certain amounts of points to allocate into your skills to upgrade your dice from a d4 to a d6 to an 8 to a 10 to a 12.
Okay.
And let's say that since your profession is a sniper, you're definitely skilled in using it, and your shooting is, pretty fantastic. So you'd be rolling, let's say, a d8 or a d10, depending on how much you wanted to sink your points into shooting.
Okay.
And then let's say you're using a d10 and you roll an 8, and since you only needed a 4 to succeed and you got a multiple above that, which is 8, it's like the next level of the shot. To visualize it, you needed a 4 to land it square in his chest. With an 8, you land it in his chest, and then the shrapnel explodes, and he is now injured and like lying on the floor.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that is sick.
Right. And let's say, even like better, let's say you're a crack shot and you landed a 12 on a d12.
Okay.
That's 2 raises, because it's 4, then 8, then 12. He's dead. Let's just say that.
Oh my god.
But a special thing about that is you don't necessarily need to be. A special thing about Savage Worlds is you don't necessarily need to be skilled to pull off these badass moments, because a mechanic is if you get the maximum number on the dice, you get to re-roll it and add that value.
Oh, Wait, what if you roll max again, though?
Then you do it again.
Oh my god. Okay.
So you very easily
Oh
could stack a 4 and a 4 and a 4 and a 4 and a 4, and then let's say a 2.
I was like, okay, I wanna punch this guy. I roll. That's so I have an 8. I have a d8. Let's see. Roll. Okay, I hit an 8 max. Okay, let me roll now. I had another 8. What do I get with 32?
Well, you only needed a 1 to hit.
Just like,
Let's see.
it's just punch. It's a one punch man situation. The freshman college student punches the guy and he explodes.
Dude, I don't. If you manage to get that, that would be. How many times over 4 is that? It's like 7 times over.
32 is that
That's
eight.
8.
So 4 for the base, and then seven raises because it's like 7 times over. The book doesn't even cover that. Like I've heard, it goes up to like 3 raises, I think, at most, because the likelihood of getting to like 32 with a D4 or a D instead of D8, even then, it's like I'd need to pull something out of my ass to describe that. God dang.
So these are new mechanics to us. Like everyone's learning it.
Yes, I just ordered the book. It was supposed to come in Friday, Saturday, and I think business delays have it coming in tomorrow or the day after.
Okay.
And if we what's it called? And if we pull it, if it's good for, if you're saying a one shot, legit, we can pull off like a critical role where even between the big episodes, like if we have if we end on like the big boat fight, for instance. I'm not gonna. No one knows what that is, but like on the big boat fight, for instance, that would be a good like ending point, and then you could probably put in like we can do a one shot because we ended on a good note. It's basically a clean slate for the next session. Be like, oh, why don't we do a one shot with someone with a different DM for once for the time being, and then we can continue the big campaign again.
To kind of like take a refresher.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if we ever hit those like big break areas and stuff like that, because I mean that's what Critical Role does. When they have like special events, they have like one shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, like fundraisers and stuff.
Yep.
You know,
oh my god, that mechanic actually sounds so fucking sick.
It is.
But you only need to beat a 4, correct?
Most of the time. If it's a very, let's say you're landing, let's use Marubi again, his character. Let's say he's landing a shot from like the other side of town. I would probably make the requirement like an 8 or a 12. 12 is like really, anything above a 4 is like rare, but since this is such a like a long shot, literally and metaphorically, like an 8 would probably be the thing.
Okay.
Gotcha. And like in the case of like most situations need a 4 to beat, and if you roll lower than a 4, that would technically be like the miss in D&D.
Yes, and just for further mechanic reference, if you're unskilled, you have a -2 penalty, I believe.
Oh fuck!
Right. So it's not
that makes
super
it fair,
bad.
That makes
it does
fair.
make it fair.
Yeah.
Proficiency,
basically.
Quote unquote. Let's refer like quick aside to our first campaign where 2 characters who don't know how to fix a fucking wagon managed to got 3 people to fix a wagon. 2 people just legit found out how to put it together, and then the one guy who put the last screw in. That's what I'm seeing. Like it's basically like that. That's why it's just like we're not skilled, and it's just a -2, which makes sense. Like how the fuck? It's all based on the rolls at this point.
And the premise, like I just wanted to add on to that. Like even if you are unskilled and you only have the D4, say you get a 4 and then you get a 3, that with the -2, that still leaves you at 5. Like you succeeded. So there's definitely a lot of room to play around.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to finally getting
I'm excited for the
together.
new. Honestly, if you put your one shot, it gives me more time to write.
Yeah. There is the source material. The reason why I know about Savage Worlds in the first place is there is actually a Critical Roles short campaign.
Is it Deadwood?
Yes, Undeadwood. Oh my
yes,
god.
Yes.
Because I was listening and I was like, wait a minute, because this is the first non-5e videos that I watched. I was like, they're not rolling d20s. And then I looked into it, like, what game are they playing for Critical Role Undeadwood? Type that into the search engine, and they're like, I found Deadlands, and I was like, okay, cool. And then there's like iterations of that, but then the umbrella that I've kind of gravitated towards is like the Savage Worlds umbrella. So I'm really excited to kind of like introduce that to everyone once I start writing the story and then also learning the mechanics more.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. And how are we doing on time? I feel like it's
119.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel. Or go ahead.
Oh, it's like whatever. We're still on you, my friend. We still got time.
The other questions I had kind of revolve more around building up those like campaign or like the character and campaign stuff.
Mhm.
I guess like a final question then is what excites you most about playing?
Oh, like if we were to play this character in that world.
Not even this character, this campaign, or anything.
like-
Just like tabletop RPGs, or really any RPG in general. Like, what about it would bring you back? Like, you look forward to playing the game.
Mechanics and story, for sure.
The role play.
That's my third. Like those are my top three for sure. Like first it would be like a story. Second would be like the mechanics, and then third would be like the roleplay behind it. Like how we can bring that story into light, basically. So it's like background story because I want to know what we're dealing with. Actually, no, mechanics first, then background story, and then how our characters would interact with roleplay. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for me, it's like mainly. I mean, yeah, I also like the mechanics and story, but the role play is usually what gets me hooked. I mean, I haven't played like a serious character with you guys yet, because it was two joke characters. I mean, they're not like jokes, but it's like they have like funny gimmicks to them.
He holding out.
Yeah, but I definitely like Sheena. But I like Nashi too. But when it comes to like story and stuff, I personally prefer modern settings. Modern to futuristic settings, usually. I can definitely go with anything though, because all you need is fun with friends, and that's what brings it home.
Honestly, that's the big thing with D&D. As long as you're having fun with your friends, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yup.
You don't want to legit get pissed and then get penalized for it.
At certain sweaty DMs. If you're listening to this, we appreciate you. We like your style, but you know, for me personally, sometimes you gotta relax just a little bit. I'm sure Marubi and Broseph have their own opinions on that.
Oh, don't worry. I have my own situations with people I know, so don't worry.
Sweating in general is just usually rough, but yeah.
Jeez. That's really it. Is like I asked that so me as like a DM, aspiring DM, is like what should I kind of like focus on building up. I'll ask everyone else too, and for our listeners at home, this second half has been more of like the process of becoming a DM or learning how to work, the process of building, because everyone's like, oh man, DMing is such a scary thing, and it's like if you start breaking it down into like, okay, what setting do you want, what factions, who do you want to have playing, is it serious, is it lighthearted, what time frame, like asking these kind of questions make it less scary. And that's kind of what I was trying to illustrate to our viewers in the second half. And the first half is just to find a kind of like fun stuff you can come up with like video games or animes or stuff. It's like you can take references and kind of put your own spin on it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's why I love this shit, dude.
And with that is, I believe, the end of my episode. I don't know if you two have any more to bring to the story, add to the narrative.
I'll roll your nat 20s. Don't take it for granted. You could probably take out an arm or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. The one day you're gonna roll 2 nat 1s on advantage. You never know. Oh man.
Right. That is all for us then. This is Eric signing off.
Marubi. Yeah.
As expected.
I'm gonna just leave this building. The door's right there.
Bro.
I'm drinking some water. Oh, look at the time. My water bottle says it's time to go. Alright, deuces.